everyone, welcome back for another Star Trek the Official Starships Collection review. In front of me now is issue number 67, the Klingon D7 class Battlecruiser seen on Star Trek the Original Series, etc, etc. And as usual, it comes with a magazine that you see here and a model that you also see here. So we'll put this aside for just a brief moment while I look at the magazine with you. As you can see, has a nice image on the cover there. Pretty basic, nothing too extravagant, but cool nevertheless. And let's see, it's considered a D7 class, launched in the 23rd century, of course, with a crew of 440 and 228 meters long. Turn the page, and the usual table of contents, as well as your basic stand assembly guide there, and your more specification information. Operated by the Klingon Imperial Fleet, again D7 class, launched in the 23rd century, 228 meters long, crew of a 440 with disruptor cannons, phaser emitters, photon torpedoes, and a magnetic pulse for weaponry. Turn the page, and you have a neat image of the battlecruiser there, as well as some text and trivia information and more screenshots and text and trivia information. Interestingly enough, the images that you see in the magazine are all from the remastered quote-unquote episodes of the original series. That is the new effects, basically new CGI effects created for all of the I guess space shots and special effects and so on and so forth. And so these effects were not originally aired back in the 60s, of course, due to technology and budget issues. So that's why these images look like they were made almost yesterday, as opposed to 50 or 40 years ago. And there is Klingon Commander Corps, or later to be Dahar Master Corps. Turning the page, you have your schematic diagram page telling you where things are and what they do, as well as some more text information here on the left. And here's a section dedicated to the design process of the battlecruiser. Basically just talks about Matt Jeffries and how he designed the ship and the process that he went through. Here's some conceptual artwork there that we have seen before in various other Star Trek magazines and Star Trek books, especially those related to the original series. And turning the page here, we have more conceptual art and text. And turning the page is a history on the Klingon language, which is a rather interesting read there. And here is a book that came out way back in the day with the Klingon language in it, created by Mark Okrand, and that was kind of cool. And I think the first time that the Klingon language was actually ever heard, although it was referenced on the original series as Klingonese, the first time it was ever heard was in the opening scenes of Star Trek the Motion Picture, pretty much what you see there. It also was the first time the Klingons' revised appearance that we've come to know and love them at today is pretty much there as well. Turning the page, there are some more screenshots there from the Next Generation and Star Trek 3, as well as some text and more about the language. And the on-screen appearance page. The first time it ever appeared was in Errand of Mercy in the original series, and the last time it was seen on the original series would be Elan of Choice. So that was kind of cool. And here is a screen cap of the D7 Battlecruiser as it appeared in the Back in Time episode Trials and Tribulations from Deep Space Nine. And so yeah, that's the Battlecruiser in a nutshell, at least in the magazine. And next is the Federation Attack Fighter. So it'd be kind of cool to share that with you. And rounding up the magazine is a image of the ship on the back cover. And so that's the magazine. So off to the side with you, and let's get to the ship itself. And there it is, the usual box I think it's safe to say that they will all come in like this unless there's something special about them, and even so, they still come the same way. So here it is in the box. So let me get it out. And my first impression is, well, meh. Very, very plain. Very, 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 very plain. I have to confess that I was not really looking forward to this issue in this model. Why? Because we got pretty much the same ship way back early in the collection, within the first couple of months or so. I think it was like issue 9 or 8 or 9 or something like that. And that was the Katinga class, which is basically the refitted, upgraded version of this ship. Which is interesting because I'm surprised that that ship was so early in the collection, considering this is actually the first Klingon ship ever to appear on Star Trek. So you would have thought that this would have appeared first, although the Klingon Bird of Prey did appear as issue number 2, well, issue 3. But you know, it's just kind of surprising that they went the way they did, but that's okay. As far as the model is concerned, there's very little detail here. In fact, hardly any. It's just painted, and you can see that this is the plastic portion, the wing part, and underneath here is your metal components. Everything else for the most part is plastic, including the bridge and the nose and the torpedo bay and all that, and the nacelles. Everything's plastic. There's very, very little detail. Nothing on the back here to show you any engines or impulse engines or torpedo launchers or anything, although I think that was more refined and stuff like that on the Katinga class. It's still a cool ship. It was just I guess not my favorite of the Klingon ships, and I guess it being so plain, I guess there's very little to even mention about it. And there's the Klingon symbol there. I don't recall it being on there on the original series like that. I think that was added on later on. So yeah, I mean, this is just one of those hit and miss models for me. It's just another ship in the ever-growing Klingon fleet from the collection, which is, at least that's cool, and to be grateful about that. And to be fair, I mean, it's a nicely sized model, but it's just lacking in detail. And I'm not saying it's any fault on the model makers or the or Eaglemoss. I guess it's just there isn't really much on the actual model from the original series, because there just wasn't a whole lot of detail on things like that back then. So yeah, that's the Klingon Battlecruiser. If you're a fan of the original series, then I would definitely pick this up. If you're just a casual fan and could care less, then I would definitely let this one slip by you. You're not missing much. And if you already have the Katinga and you're happy with that, and you think you pretty much have the same ship, then I would definitely stick with the Katinga, because it's a better looking, more detailed model. Basically the same ship, but more detailed. So yeah, that's the Klingon not the Kinga class, excuse me. I don't know why I did that. It's actually just a simple D7 Battlecruiser. So yeah, that's it. And as usual, all the models come with a stand, which feature the name of the vessel on the bottom there. So that's the Klingon Battlecruiser seen on Star Trek the Original Series. And next up, I hope to share with you issue number 68, the Federation Attack Fighter. So until then, live long and prosper, and Kapla!